With over 30 million Americans unemployed right now, it's important for you as an ambitious vet to rise up and learn how to leverage your veteran status to rise up the country's economy. How do you do that without feeling like you're asking for a handout or feeling like you're a charity case? Well, this conversation will be vital to you in creating opportunity in your life where opportunity may seem far and in between.
Really, to me, friendly competition doesn't really exist when you're going after the consumer. So you need to tell everyone, wrap your vehicle that you're a veteran. Once your business card says veteran, your LinkedIn profile should have veteran at the top, veteran, patriot. Those things, when you're trying to build a customer base or LinkedIn friends or Facebook friends that are going to see your products and services, they're going to go to that veteran and think twice. They're going to remember, and they're going to put you over in this box and say, there's a veteran business. When I want to get my car washed or my house painted, let me give that veteran an opportunity.
Today's show is brought to you by Brute Force Sandbags. They focus on the gear, the training, and the lifestyle you need to train accordingly. Best thing about it is they're 100% American-made training products, so they're boosting the American economy and you're supporting a veteran-owned business. They're built for the toughest training on the planet. Are you prepared, ambitious vet? Well, they got free shipping domestically, they got a warranty, and they get it. If you buy it, you don't like it, you got a 30-day money-back guarantee to go ahead and get your money back. Well, if you're ready to train accordingly, choose Brute Force. Click the link in the show notes below and learn more right now. Welcome to the Ambitious Vet Podcast, where we believe that if you desire more than you have in any area of life, you have to become more in the process. My name is Chris Hoffman, Marine Corps combat veteran turned social entrepreneur, family man, and personal and professional development leader. On this show, I dive into the trenches with big thinking and conscious veterans who know what it takes to not only pay the bills after the military, but really live with a sense of purpose, satisfaction, and career fulfillment we all desire most after financial stability is no longer a challenge to overcome. Grab your pen and paper. It's time to gain the golden grenades needed to break through your fear barriers and live a life of purpose with passion.
It's time to get into the trenches, dig into your purpose, and fire up your life's fulfillment. The Ambitious Vet Podcast starts now.
What's going on, ambitious vets? We're right back in the trenches for another ambitious vet show with a big thank you, veteran and also industry leader who knows what it takes and knows what it's like to actually start over during difficult times. Today's guest is going to be Jerry Flanagan. Jerry is an Army veteran, an entrepreneur who created a national brand dedicated to empowering veterans through business. He founded JDog Brands, which includes JDog junk removal and hauling, a 200-plus franchise system that serves over 40 million veterans, and the new JDog carpet cleaning. All rooted in the military values we know, like, and love, which is respect, integrity, and trust. JDog has become a nationwide movement, creating business and employment opportunities for thousands of veterans and military family members nationwide. Jerry, welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome, brother. Well, you got to be... Man, I heard this story through the grapevine, but you gotta let me know. Was the JDog brand founded in a Home Depot parking lot?
I could say we launched there basically. My wife Tracy and I had talked about launching this junk removal business before I actually did it. She thought it was kind of a crazy idea to get into that space. We had been in retail. We had a couple of retail businesses, and the last one we had failed, and we had wound up in a bankruptcy situation. So while I was trying to find a job, I was also looking for a recession-proof business, and junk removal was one of the few that came up and said during hard times, recessions, people have junk. They have that need to get things removed. So I had a Jeep. We picked up a trailer, landscape trailer, and we were off to the races. We wrote some index cards, and I would park in the Home Depot parking lot as my so-called outside office and wait for consumers to walk by, and I'd say, hey, I'm JDog Junk Removal. Do you need anything removed from your house today? And of course, Home Depot on a Saturday, they're all working DIY stuff, and I would get jobs.
Wow. Well, ambitious vets and the audience here, we love the whole knuckle dragging approach of being in the trenches, is building something from the ground up. So I acknowledge you for doing that. So Jerry, man, you got out back in the late 80s, right? As a JDog wirer, right? And you got out with aspirations to be a football player, go back to college and stuff like that. And, what would you say, your biggest landmines over the first few years that you hit, both personally and professionally, that, you could come back and teach ambitious vets to be like, hey, man, this is how you get ahead of these landmines. What were those landmines you hit?
Well, prior to going in the military, I was kind of a lazy high school kid. I didn't have good grades. Came from one of those families where, Irish family, alcoholic, really no goals set, just kind of live. And the military really, created some structure for me. And I was able to learn how to work hard. And I learned how to out hustle everybody. So when I got out, it didn't translate very well into college for me because, quite frankly, I was 21 years old. My football shape was gone. All these young people were coming in, and I think half of them were doing steroids. And I was like, "Whoa, this! I'm not in that kind of shape, So my football career ended pretty quickly, and schooling I wasn't doing that great. And I ran out of money. The GI Bill back then wasn't very good, so I just figured, let me go get a job. So I tried to get a job with AT&T, thinking communications, military, and that transition didn't do anything for me. So I just played the game of retail. I did some retail, did some bouncing, and have a better plan when you're getting out of the military. I think today, from when I was in, and they're better at it today, but you have to have a good plan when you're getting out instead of just getting out and thinking things are just going to happen. Because in the military, you're told when to wake up, you're told when to go to sleep. When you get out, it can get really wild really fast.
Yeah, that's for sure. And if we don't have that structure, man, we go wild, crazy. So it sounds like you got out, college was kind of not your thing, which I can totally relate to, man. It took me probably a year and a half to figure out what I actually wanted to do, both formally and informally in life, right? And just figure out how to be more comfortable in my own skin as I was getting out there, and figure out how do I solve bigger problems that could bring more economical value to the world, but also in my own life, right? So it sounds like you kind of start building your human capital in, AT&T, the retail world, and stuff like that. So what was some of the things you were learning as you were going through those first jobs, as you were building, your human capital to who you are today?
Well, I wound up getting a job in a seasonal retail company, and it was a very small company, about a $2 million company. And over 7 years, I was able to, volunteer, outwork everybody. So I got a marketing job. I was loading trucks. I was working the warehouse. I learned how to sign leases, create leases, and read them. So I got very good at retail, and I was making the guy I worked for a lot of money. He was getting really, really rich on my back. And after about 7 years, I'd had it. And I said, I'm doing the majority of this work. I'm leading. I really became an entrepreneur during that time. I was never an entrepreneur growing up. I don't believe in, you're born an entrepreneur. I had a lemonade stand at 5 years old. I'm not buying it. Some people say that, but, to me, my story is I worked for somebody, made them a lot of money, and it really pissed me off. And I just said, I want to do it myself. So I went out on my own, tried my own stores. I thought I did great, except I failed because I ran out of money. Lessons learned, I wasn't prepared financially to open a business. So I had to go back and work for the guy again. Then about 4 or 5 years later, talked to my wife, and we're like, we got to get out of this again. So we tried another business, and that business happened to worked out really well. That was in 2006, and that was Moon Bounce's birthday party swing sets. And I had taken all the experience I had learned in all the other retail and just continue to apply it and grow on it. And I didn't realize it then, but I was using my military skills this whole time without even bringing up that I served. Because I had served. I also did a couple years in the National Guard. And I figured I was done serving. I'm not a military guy anymore. I'm not going to tell anybody about it. It's no big deal. But the skills of being early, working late hours, saying yes sir, yes ma'am, looking people in the eye, that professionalism really went a long way of our journey going into that swing set business.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, what I'm hearing in there is like there's some soft skills that we naturally carry that are almost unconscious that we're providing value and we don't even know it. So, Jerry, man, I would ask you, what were like some key soft skills that got you to where you are today with, JDog brands and being able to build leadership around you the way you have? What were some key soft skills?
Well, I think number one, when we first started the junk removal business, we did not start it as a veteran business. I was going to go haul junk in my neighborhood with my children's parents, right? Like they're my customer. They know me. I know them. I'm going to go in their house. So it was about 2 weeks into this. This is back in 2011 that a customer looked at me and said, and after I said, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, I hauled the junk out. I swept it when I was done. Clean cut, haircut, and I'm a junk guy, right? And I'm all clean cut. And they said, "Well, you must have served in the military." I'm like, "Yeah, but I served, early '90s, late '80s. I've been out of it." No, you should tell people you're a veteran. I'm like, I don't want a handout here. I don't want somebody to hire me because I'm a veteran. That's not why I'm. They said, "No, you don't understand. The American people will want to hire you. They're going to want to bring veterans into their homes to give them opportunity and work." And I came home and told my wife, Tracy, I said, "I think we need to change this model a little bit." And she said, "Home run, let's go." So we changed the model. I created the BullDog, which is actually a Fort Stewart, Georgia dog. The Marines think it's theirs. It's really not. It's an Army dog. So everyone says Semper Fi to me all the day, So we turned it Army themed. We got an Army colored vehicle. And before you know it, I was the military veteran business in the community. And everybody got in line to use us. It was unbelievable. So I needed help. I went to the VA hospital in Coatesville, went to a job fair, and started hiring compensated work therapy patients who couldn't get jobs. They couldn't get work. They were going through rehab. And employers weren't hiring them, but I would stick them on the truck. They'd haul junk with me. And they would build confidence, and trust would happen. And it worked out really well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I find that once, a veteran that's out, gets a few small wins, it's like the broaden build theory, man. It's just, we start building confidence, like compound interest, right? So I acknowledge you, man, for just being able to, find veterans that were potentially being labeled as broken, right? I was one of those Marines that got out with labeled as PTSD, generalized anxiety disorder, 50% disabled over here. And I could have chose, man, to live in that label or step out of it, man. I acknowledge you for just giving a veteran an opportunity, man, to step into a new way of living. And it sounds like it's taking off. I mean, you're employing thousands of veterans nationwide, over 200 plus franchisees, man, that are just killing it and all that. So, man, today you sit on the board of Grunt Style. You have 200 plus franchisees, as I just said, across the nation, employing thousands of American veterans. But life wasn't always as good as we've already kind of unpacked. In 1999, you failed in a retail business. 2006, a playground company, fell with the 2008 economy. But you are also quoted in saying, if you can capture that strength before the adversity comes, I think you can go a lot further in life. How can us as ambitious vets, Jerry, capture that strength to endure the process wherever we are in our journeys today?
Well, my wife likes to say I'm the king of the backup plan. And you need to always be prepared for the sky to fall down. And I learned it the hard way. I wasn't prepared the first time. Second time, I really wasn't prepared. But this third time, we want to get prepared for if something happens. Not only if you can financially save a little bit of money and have some lines of credit just in case you need finances, but also think about, if you're not going to do this business or this job today, what am I willing to do to make ends meet? Where am I going to pivot? And I'm always prepared to pivot. I always have another plan, another model in my mind. And I think that's called really, working in your strength when you're positive, because a lot of people are successful and they get so caught up in the money and buying things, and they're thinking it's never going to end. When we filed bankruptcy, 2 years before that, we were driving Escalades, going to Mexico 3 times a year. We thought we were going to have hundreds of locations around the country, and we were spending the future. Our high credit cards, life was great, and then you get punched in the mouth. Fortunately for me, I was so pissed off after working so hard to get to that point, and I had a wife to provide for. I had kids in middle school. We lived in a great community. I worked angry. So I think that if you can prepare for that punch before it comes, I think you're going to have a better shot of getting over that, over those obstacles.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, it's kind of being proactive versus reactive. And I feel like, unfortunately, some of us have to go through some of those punches to learn to duck, dive, weave, and all that kind of stuff to be more versatile and stuff like that. And it sounds like you've done a great job in doing that. So, Ambitious Vet, we're going to break real quickly to thank our sponsors. When we get back, we're going to be diving into how to not be a cultural misfit when you're outperforming your peers. We'll be right back.
When you have more time in your hands like right now, don't waste it. Do yourself a favor and fill your mind with knowledge, wisdom, or maybe you just want to find an outlet with some good comedy. Audible has thousands of titles from podcasts, guided wellness programs, theatrical performances, and exclusive Audible originals you won't find anywhere else. What I love about Audible the most is you can fill your mind with information while doing other stuff like hiking, commuting, and sipping some good old whiskey out back while watching the sunset. If you're looking to get ahead during these times when most people are sitting back and taking a break, fill your mind with the needed knowledge that you're going to need anyways to bring value to the market once it opens back up. Check them out. Take advantage of a 30-day free trial on us here at the Ambitious Vets. It's going to be $15 membership fee month after month after the 30-day trial, but try it out. Try it out just like a bike. See how it rides by visiting www.audibletrial.com/AMV.
All right, Ambitious Vets, we're inside the trenches with JDog himself, Jerry Flanagan. I'm excited to dive into the next topic. We're going to be diving into how us as Ambitious Vets, they get out and we just want to execute. We just want to get shit done, make things happen inside of organizations and in our life, careers, and businesses. And, Jerry has, as you can tell throughout this whole interview, just talking about how he's always been out working his peers. And I know a lot of you guys that are listening to this podcast, maybe you that's listening right now, you feel the same way. You're outperforming your counterparts inside your organization, or maybe you are currently in the furlough program, right? Unemployed right now, looking for the next thing, and you can outperform. I want to dive into a topic with Jerry Flanagan around how we can be hustlers, outperforming our peers, but also dive into, how do we develop the social skills that can help create opportunity and have others win around us. So Jerry, man, how do we do this as Ambitious Vets? How do we outperform our peers, but also, how do we have everyone win around us?
Yeah, I think you want to be a disruptor. As uncomfortable that may make your coworkers or local businesses, you want to be obnoxious. You want to let everyone know that you're a veteran. You have a competitive advantage. I don't care what business you're doing, or I don't care what field of work you are. Everybody should know you're a veteran, including your coworkers, your boss, your customers. Everybody in your network should know you're a veteran. How do you do that, right? Without insulting people or making people feel bad that they didn't serve. Too bad, right? That's the way I look at it, right? You serve the country. You got to get it out there, whether you wear the gear, you wear the shirts, you wear the support, and talk about it. You need to talk about your service. You need to talk about, things that you've gone through in positive ways. I'm not sitting there, bring people down roads. And I think that when you are in the business space, the enemy really is your competition. There's really, to me, friendly competition doesn't really exist when you're going after the consumer. So you need to tell everyone, wrap your vehicle that you're a veteran. Once your business card says veteran, your LinkedIn profile should have veteran at top, veteran, patriot. Those things, when you're trying to build a customer base or LinkedIn friends or Facebook friends that are going to see your products and services, they're going to go to that veteran and think twice. They're going to remember, and they're going to put you over in this box and say, there's a veteran business. When I want to get my car washed or my house painted, let me give that veteran an opportunity. Or if there's a job available, right? Let me see if that veteran's looking for a job. I think if you don't use the veteran status, you're making a huge mistake. Now you're just another couple 100 million person out there trying to get a job or trying to start a business. That's really the only reason this business has gone the way it is. It was my wife's idea to build the franchise system. I was happy. Philadelphia, a couple trucks, a couple veterans, keep it simple. I didn't want to go through what I went through before. I wanted to keep my risk low. But she realized the strength and the power of the veteran brand. She would talk to the customers after I left their house, and they'd say, I want to thank you and your family for your service and what you're doing for our veteran community. She would get those phone calls, and we would get 5, 10 repeat calls after that. They would talk about us. So to me, if you're a veteran and you're trying to start a business, my advice to you is you better wear the gear, and everyone better know you're a veteran, because that's going to give you that competitive advantage that can make a big difference in your growth.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, I have so many questions that are just kind of rolling through my head. But one thing that popped out just right there when you were saying is like, wear that veteran badge proudly, right? But I think that, just in the veteran community as a whole, sometimes that stigma can be negative. Like you're trying to leverage it to get handouts and stuff like that. Why do you think labeling yourself as a veteran to build a customer base is so important, especially in today's times of COVID-19 crisis?
Because it's all about emotion.
Yeah.
I mean, sales is emotion. And if you can have someone feel for you in some way, they're a patriot, more than likely their grandfather served, or their father served, or their brother's and son. When I would go into a home, me and another veteran, right? Let's say from the VA, back when I don't haul anymore. I'm the franchisor. The respect that I got from that customer, they thanked me for my service. They'd offer me water or whatever, a drink. They'd offer to make me lunch. I'd haul the junk out. They'd give me a tip. They'd thank us for our service again. The American people want to support veterans, whether it's consumers or it's CEOs that run big companies. They want to hire veterans. So the more you get it out there that you're a veteran, I'm not saying be obnoxious and be crazy veteran guy. I'm not worried. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, and how there's extremes on a Facebook. But what I'm saying is, if you can tactfully use that leverage, I'm telling you, we've grown this franchise system. We sold 20 carpet cleaning franchises in our first year. We just sold our 20th yesterday. This is a crazy rate to sell franchises, and we're selling them because the American people want to use our services. We just happen to package it in a very methodical way that the American people can see JDog on a big scale, but they trust us coming to their homes. And obviously you got to execute with the good service, but that could be applied in any veteran business as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Yeah. I think executing on a quality service is extremely important, especially when you're going in, hauling out, personal items that sometimes can be emotional, right? Like me and my fiance just moved from San Diego down to Dallas, Texas, like 3 weeks ago, man. And trying to get her to minimalize her stuff was challenging, man. And right. And just for her to, be able to give things up, it took people coming in and, just being able to like, hey, stuff's going to be okay and all this stuff. And, sometimes you got to give the emotional attachment up to it. So why do you think, just veterans, right, in general, why do you think JDog's model, their franchise model is key for any veteran that's looking to just plug into a proven system? How do you think you guys execute on that quality service inside of JDog?
Well, when you look at our staffing, right, we've got 50% veterans in our office, 70% women, right?
Yeah.
And the veterans that are there are anywhere from Marine, Air Force, Army, combat, non-combat. We're able to relate to those franchisees when they want to join our system because we understand them. We understand their lingo. They understand our culture. We understand their culture. And they feel comfortable with us. But better than that, we have a network called Base Camp. So when you buy a franchise, you join a private base camp that's only for JDogs, and they can interact and talk. It's like a Facebook.
A community, man.
They're sharing jobs. They're sharing ideas. They're communicating. They're hiring veterans. All these veterans are hiring veterans. They're hiring people they serve with. It's like this. They're bringing their community back. They're re-enlisting in their own way, but they're building a business for themselves. I've never really imagined this being this way. I mean, it's really. We're probably going to have about 5,000 franchises up around the country and about 10 services because Tracy and I, our goal is every zip code in the United States should be able to offer a veteran a business. And if JDog happens to be that comfortable way of coming in, you pay a franchise fee, you pay an ongoing flat royalty, and you've got a whole team and marketing strategy behind you to support you. So you're in business, with us, you're not in business by yourself.
Yeah, I love how you're building like a JDog ecosystem, man. It sounds like you're completely building it up.
The goal is for transitioning veterans to get out. There's 230,000. I'd like JDog to be an option, either to get a job while you're doing something else, or buy your own business, you know?
Yeah, God only knows, the TAPS and TAMS program is teaching them resume writing, interview prep, and stuff like that, man. But to build the soft skills necessary to create opportunity, it sounds like JDog is doing that, man. And it's just absolutely amazing about what you guys are doing. And I would ask you this. I mean, how does an ambitious vet go about the vetting process? Because I'm sure at this point, 200 plus franchisees. I mean, you're in over 30 states right now, aren't you?
Yes. Yep.
Wow. How do they go about going through that vetting process, potentially being like, hey, they're listening right now. They're just like, hey, I have access to the SBA loan, or, I have some cash on hand. I got laid off. I want to plug my discipline. I want to plug in my leadership skills inside of a proven system that's taking off during these times. What's the next step for an ambitious vet to plug into your system?
Yeah. JDogBrands.com website first, and then you can read all about everything we're doing. It's a simple form. You have a sales call first, which is, you call it a sales call. It's more of a qualifying call, because you have to have been either a veteran or an immediate veteran military family member. We're 90% veteran owned, 10% veteran family. So we do that. We go through your credit score. We want to make sure that you're not, wasting people's time and being on a pipe dream when you don't have the credit or the finance to do it, of course. And then you have a secondary call with our director of sales. We invite you into a discovery day. So you fly into here. Tracy and I have met every owner. You cannot buy a franchise unless you have dinner with us.
That's awesome.
The way it's going to be. I mean, you're going to be a partner with us, right? You got to represent our brand. Plus, you need to trust us. I mean, you're giving us money ongoing. So you got to make sure you meet the team. You meet our marketing team. You meet our corporate service team. You meet our operations team, and you're going to get a chance to see how we do things in a 2-day discovery day process. Then you go for your financing. If we all like each other, create the territory for you. We sign a franchise agreement. You come to training, and within 8 weeks, you're working. You're paying. You have income coming in, and you're hiring people. It's quite an experience.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys have the system down to where you just plug them in and they know how to perform, which is, I think, amazing and, just really important for veterans, right? Like if they can plug into a proven process, just like when we were in the military, man, when we were, I remember in my Marine Corps days when we deployed to Afghanistan, hey, this is the mission objectives. Here are the tactics. Here's the strategic plan, plug our personality into it, provide support resources and stuff like that, man. We're off to the races. We know how to execute.
Yeah, we have everything. Like on the junk side, for example, we'll teach you how to take apart a Whirlpool, a hot tub. We'll teach you how to make money in metal, how to make money reselling on Facebook Marketplace, where to donate items. All those revenue streams are taught within the system. This is not just pay me to pick up junk, I leave. We teach you how to repurpose like 90% of the junk so it doesn't go into a landfill.
Wow. It sounds like there's a lot of profit margin to be made too. It sounds like you guys got a very lean process, man, that can help, veterans stay cash flow positive, which is important too.
Yeah. There's a lot of revenue stream. But again, you have to follow the system. We do have some veterans out there that like to do it their way. Not every veteran follows orders.
Right. That's 100% true, I've found. So we're going to take another brief break, Ambitious Vets, right after this message from our sponsors, and we'll dive right into Jerry's 3 golden grenades to keep you unstuck and living a more fulfilling, satisfying life after financial stability is no longer a problem. We'll be back.
Thank you to Emerson Knives. 100% tough, 100% American. Emerson Knives are envied by elite military and law enforcement units around the world and have set the standard by which all other tactical knives are judged. The founder, Ernest Emerson, started making custom knives in his garage in 1979. Emerson's work has been featured and exhibited at the Metropolitan Museum of Art and the Smithsonian Museum. Now, as an instructor in hand-to-hand combat and edge weapon skills, Mr. Emerson has taught the most elite warriors on earth. From the U.S. Navy SEALs to the Guards of Parliament in London and everywhere in between. Ambitious Vet, if you're ready for a knife that gets the job done, no matter what it is, choose Emerson Knives. Visit emersonKnives.com right now or click the link in the show notes below.
All right, ambitious vets, we're right back into the trenches with JDog himself, Jerry Flanagan, who has made a nationwide impact, employing thousands of veterans and now over 200 plus franchisees. Maybe you're the next one based on how this conversation's going. But I want to shift gears and dive into our tradition here, Jerry. We have a tradition of just you bring in your 3 golden grenades, man. What would be 3 wisdom bombs that you could drop in for any veteran that's been out for 3+ years in their second or third job or in a startup phase or startup mindset, that has financial stability, but is just lacking satisfaction, fulfillment? What would you give to a veteran in that position?
You got to look at your patterns. You got to look at the way you're structuring things, and you got to challenge yourself. You need to get up a little bit earlier every day. You got to work a little later every day. You got to mix it up. If you say, I'm never going to work on Saturday and Sundays, well, guess what? You need to be working on some Saturday and Sundays. You got to make yourself a little uncomfortable, and you got to try different things. You can't be afraid to fail. You've got to try things. You've got to add new things. They're all not going to work. 70% of the time, baseball players fail at the plate. But that 30% gets them into the Hall of Fame. Those type of thought processes are really important. And so to me, you got to meet as many people as you can, network with as many veteran networks as you can. You could spend weeks on LinkedIn searching veteran businesses, and all you do is connect with veterans, and they'll connect back. I've gotten up to about 11,000 LinkedIn connections, and 95% of those people are veterans. So you can build your base, with the social media right now very quickly and easily. And once we start opening the country back up, go to those real estate meetings and have a cup of coffee and talk about what your service is. You got to get out there and you got to get involved, because if you're not out there hustling, you're losing money. And so to me, if you combine a couple of those grenades together, you got to restructure yourself. You got to be your brand. You got to live your brand. You should be driving around with your brand on your car. You should be wearing your gear, and you should do nothing but talk about it. Those are the really important things. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you're going to have to sacrifice, and the sacrificing is going to be, you got to talk about yourself. And a lot of people don't like to talk about themselves. A lot of veterans don't want to talk about themselves. But if you don't want to be that kind of person, I would not become an entrepreneur. I'd get a job and shy away after hours and punch out. You need to be the first one to the meetings, last one to leave.
Yeah, I love that challenging message. And I think that's a golden grenade launcher. There was like 20 different golden grenades there, man. So I appreciate it. And ambitious vet, if you're listening right now, just take one of those and go and implement it in the next week. And I promise you, you're going to be elevating in purpose, life satisfaction, and fulfillment. I promise you. So JDog, it's been an absolute honor, man, to have this conversation with you. Where can ambitious vets go to learn more about JDog and what's next for you guys, or even just to reach out and be like, hey, I'd love to start the process of potentially being a franchisee?
Yeah. JDog.com, JDOG.com. You can certainly reach out to me on LinkedIn. I love having LinkedIn connections. So Jerry Flanagan, just type in JDog and you'll see me show up about 8 million times. But JDog.com is the way to go, because you'll see our information about our foundation, our jobs board. We have a jobs board. How to book jobs, if you need carpet cleaning, or if you need junk removal, or if you simply want to buy a franchise. So JDog.com has all that on one spot. Perfect.
And ambitious vet, all those links will be in the show notes below. So be looking out after those. And hey, it's a recession-proof business. So hey, if we have any kind of COVID-19 outbreak in the future, make sure that you have your ducks in a row. And it looks like JDog has done the job. So Jerry, man, I just want to acknowledge you for who you've been, man. You've been an example of an ambitious vet, man. Ambitious vet. You've endured multiple punches to the stomach, in your own words, not mine. And you've gotten back up, and now you have, just a great testimonial to inspire us all, man, to make, the impact that you're making. So thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
The Ambitious Vet is available on all popular podcast platforms. Go to vettrainingcoaching.com to subscribe, rate, and share with fellow vets.
Again, today's show is brought to you by Brute Force Sandbags, 100% American-made training products built for the toughest training on the planet. So if you're either a first responder out there in the trenches every single day, thank you for your service from here on the Ambitious Vet podcast. Or if you're just a veteran looking to train tactically or just be more functional in your everyday life, I encourage you to go train accordingly by clicking the link in the show notes below and check out all their Rolodex, their apps, their training products, their apparel, and train accordingly today.